Good morning, friends. I am happy to be here today. Definitely happy to be here today. Pardon me for just a moment. Okay. Thank you for that moment. Sometimes it's good to, when you're feeling rushed, when I'm feeling rushed, when I'm in some sort of a hurry, stop for just a moment. And just close my eyes and I just take a couple of breaths. There's a few benefits that I've found in doing this practice. One, it lets me regain presence in the moment, because when I'm in a hurry, I'm always kind of living in the next moment, right? And that's where the anxiety comes from when we are feeling short on time or when we're rushed, is that we're already in our heads in the next place. And it's exhausting to try to have presence in more than one space. Uh, that's why having a job or a career that you always kind of have one foot out the door is so exhausting at the end of the workday, because you're splitting your energy. We're there doing what we need to do, but part of us is always somewhere else. And I found that that's actually really, really hard on my body. Um, at this point, functioning on that level of stress is it really makes me sick. It makes me ill. Um, so these practices that I've been learning and working on, some for many years and some relatively new, just a couple of years, they're not um, they're not just fun ideas. uh, and it's okay if they are. It's okay if it's a hobby. It's okay if it's just an interest. This isn't my point. My point is that I need to remember that these things are necessary for my health. That this is what I have found that works for me now. Um, and I'm finding that when I don't maintain a practice and when I don't um, sort of live in this space of gratitude and showing up for what I need, then I get sick and I feel miserable. And all this, I think, is just to say that um, I have feelings that come up of protectiveness over this practice, and I think that that's something that's worth inspecting for myself. Um, I'm not sure at what point I learned the idea that what we do needs to be supported by other people in our lives. I know that on an energetic level, it's very important that we are, when we are taking part in a practice that opens us up to receive, that opens up our energy. Um, when we become vulnerable, it is very important to surround yourself with people whose intention and energy is to uplift and support whatever it is that you're moving towards. And and there's a lot of reasons for that, but just on a purely energetic level, when we become open, we are energetically connected to other humans and other living beings. And I don't think that it's necessarily some new age woo science that we have to rely on for this. We can just touch into our own intuition. And the amount of energy it takes to defend yourself and protect yourself when somebody has an energy that does not support you is exhausting. Um, so when we're moving into these practices, I think that sometimes it can become a challenge to try to live our lives in the way we've always lived our lives when we are changing. As we begin to change the way that we relate to the world, then the way we see the world changes, and the way we interact with the world can begin to change. And it doesn't have to be a drastic change. It doesn't have, this is not what I'm talking about. It can be, it could be completely drastic, but it can also just be these subtleties that you're beginning to explore things that now capture your attention that maybe didn't before. And this can be difficult and straining if we don't have support in what we're doing, and also if we're not supporting what we're doing. So I think this morning, the last few days, I've been feeling a need to step back into this more protective role over my practices. And confusing being protective and being defensive is really easy to do. It's really easy. And so I've been having to check myself and my intentions and the way that I'm feeling and the things that I want to say in conversations to make sure that I'm not being defensive. And here's the reason why. When I am defensive, I am not allowing myself to experience another perspective for what it is. I am only experiencing it for what I am. And if it challenges my identity, my ego, my sense of self, then I am likely to reject it. And there's value in not rejecting outright everything that challenges who you think you are. But challenging who we are does not necessarily mean allowing ourselves to be degraded or to feel othered just because who I think I am in the moment does not fit the model of who you think I should be. That's where protectiveness comes in. The difference between protection and defense is subtle. But I can protect my energetic and emotional psychic body and my physical body without defending my thoughts. And this is part of the practice. And I think a brief prayer for the suffering. I think that this is where gratitude in my practice becomes so vital and so valuable for me. And gratitude doesn't always mean being happy about what we have. I think it just means being present with what we have. And a really good example of that I can think of is a funeral. When I'm at a funeral and I'm surrounded by the shared loved ones of the deceased, we're standing around honoring this person's life. It is terribly sad. And there's a lot of pain that's present. and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be there surrounded by loved ones. I'm grateful to hold the space and share in the magnitude of love in that moment, but I'm not happy about it. So, gratitude is not always being happy. And when I can arrive with gratitude, I can show up open and cared for. And even when someone else is expressing their pain and their suffering, I don't have to take responsibility to be present with them. I don't know if that comes through or makes sense in the way that I said it. I don't have to change who I am or what I'm doing to be able to be present with who they are and what they're doing. Maybe that's an easier way to say it. And so today, when I'm interacting with people and I hear people expressing their displeasure at who they think I am or my practices, or who they think another is. There's so many people who just thrive on demeaning people on social media or in public. Everybody's got um, everybody's got an ability. Not everybody acts upon it, but everybody has an ability to be open or be closed. And being openly closed is an interesting phenomena that I think social media is really exacerbating. And so today, when I'm experiencing people's open closedness, I want to check that I'm not being defensive of my ego and be protective of my practice. And that means gratitude. Just arriving with gratitude. So let's take just a couple moments to breathe together. If you would like, you can close your eyes and find a place of balance in your body as you seek your meditation posture. That place of the least amount of stress or strain. Every bit of my practice is devotion to my breath. So I try to accommodate the breath and facilitate as much as I can the ease of breath. Opening my front muscles, relaxing my belly, relaxing my shoulders, and slightly turning my shoulder blades together just enough to open the chest and the heart. Breathing in gently through the nose and releasing gently from the mouth and nose. Just a few breaths today. Let this breath bring love into your body and radiate love outwards. If you come upon those places of strain and you're finding a stuck spot in your body, just be there, be present with it. Breathe into that space with love. And maybe even with gratitude. Just say thank you and see what happens. You can stay here as long as you'd like. Thank you, friends, for joining me today in these breaths and on this journey home. I really appreciate sharing this practice, and I really appreciate you sharing your practice with me. When Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Zen teacher, shared that he feels that the next Buddha, the next enlightened being, may very well be the Sangha. The Sangha is a group of people working together towards wholeness and health, helping one another along the path to releasing the things that separate us in our mind. When he said that the next Buddha may be the Sangha, I think it's an understanding that we're not alone. So why are we trying to do this alone? We can have the support of one another in these practices and in our daily lives. And it can look different for everyone. But even just breathing together and putting energy towards the health of one another, having well wishes when someone finds something that works for them, not tearing people down for changing, and not stopping ourselves from changing and becoming something new. That's the job of the Sangha, to support one another on the path. So thanks for being a part of this Sangha today on the journey home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Audio.